KMXF Waynesville and iHeart radio station.
I'm Doug Brown. Day 2 of the NFL Draft in Las Vegas. Rounds 2 and 3 coming up after a whirlwind first round. The Buccaneers will kick off the evening with the first pick of the second round, number 33 overall. Our coverage starts at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and TV, 7 Eastern on ABC. Only one quarterback taken in the first round, Pitt's Kenny Pickett, taken at number 20 by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and head coach Mike Tomlin.
Well, we circled the globe, or at least the United States here, the last several months, man, just exploring and researching, and it's funny, we, ended up with the guy from next door.
Pickett will compete with Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph for the starting job. In the NBA playoffs, Game 6, Grizzlies and Timberwolves tonight with Memphis leading 3-2, 9 Eastern for the coverage on ESPN. Zion Williamson says, of course, he would sign a max contract extension with the Pelicans if it's offered. Williamson is eligible to get a 5-year, $181 million extension.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Yeah, they were always committed to Jalen Hurts. I think there was a lot of smoke. The A.J. Brown situation is perfect. So you go get that bigger, thicker receiver.
Get more from the guys Monday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Now your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Pay. That's pay. Enter it on our station website now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get into the chat with us. And, of course, that also will give you the alert every time we go live, like we did last night for one of the most historic first rounds in NFL draft history. All of the breakdown coming your way here over the next 2 hours. And, yes, we will be with you live again tonight. All of the picks.
17 hours of commercial-free NFL draft football.
We'll have all of day 3 coverage as well, starting at noon on, tomorrow on Saturday. It's everything's kind of running together right now because last night we had a lot of fun.
Tank had a little more fun than the rest of us did.
Today was a little slow going.
For you, yes. For me, I was so jacked up on what my team did, I couldn't sleep.
I wasn't because my team did nothing. We traded out of the first round with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey,
so we will start the action tonight.
You kick it off tonight.
That's right. We will.
There's been a low grumble that you should have to announce this pick in your Bernie Sanders voice.
I think I'm gonna.
And
I think I'm gonna.
And we also we got a lot of things to take care of today and tonight. It's gonna be a fun weekend. Last night was bonkers.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy, and Jeremy's over the moon because his New York Jets were one of the winners of the draft. I don't know that I'm at the point to call you the winner of the draft last night,
better?
But I don't know.
Who did better?
I feel like Baltimore. I feel like Baltimore did a hell of a job last night.
And, I mean, they
ended up with
Baltimore's certainly one of the winners.
They ended up with
two blue chippers.
Yeah, top 10 prospects.
Got 3.
Plus, they got rid of Hollywood Brown. So
I'm still look, at this point in the NFL, I feel like my little narrative on receivers has completely come true. Okay. If you're going to pay the $25 million to that high-end receiver, you're going to do it because you have a bad quarterback. Baltimore Ravens went, no, we're good. We'll go Rashad Bateman. We'll get a George Pickens in round 2. we're just going to keep doing smart things, and that's why they've been good forever. And teams like Arizona haven't.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a first-round pick and give it up for a receiver that does a thing.
Uh-huh. Hollywood Brown is real, real fast, and the Arizona Cardinals gave up a first-round pick, which then the Baltimore Ravens turned around and used the 23rd overall pick.
For a guy who will be a starter for 15 years.
Absolutely.
Last night was proof positive. If you want to know where your team is, just watch what they do in the first 2 days of the draft.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we have all of the breakdown of the trades. We'll do draft grades coming up in the second hour. We got your just a bit outside. Your weird news. We won't have any gambling picks tonight because
there's only one game. But if you followed me last night, look, when you describe me, there are a lot of words that you could use. But I feel like humble is certainly going to be in the top 3. So it is not in my nature to brag when I'm right. But on the first day of the NFL draft, which completely consumed my brain. Perfect.
Yep.
4-0. 4-0, just across the board, all winners.
I mean, it was a perfect night for you all around.
Oh, yeah. Jets draft was perfect. The NBA betting picks were perfect.
Uh-huh.
Listening to Creed bangers this morning.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm on top of the world looking down on creation.
You just woke up with arms wide open today, didn't you?
I just heard the news today. It seems my life is going to change. Rob Johnson in the comments, we do not have a super chat button. If you're watching us on YouTube, we look a little different, and I'm going to level with you. Here's why. We didn't want to have to move this setup all the way back down the hall and then back down the hall for tonight.
Right.
So we're going Frankenstein. So I'm your Huckleberry. He said, Jeremy, please make me feel better about the Dotson pick. I almost feel like it should have been Burks since we could use the bigger-bodied receiver. In the next hour, we're going to give grades, knee-jerk reaction grades to the picks from last night. And the Jahan Dotson deal is not even in the bottom 5.
Carolina Panther fans, you're going to like your grade.
Yeah, it's
because you did it right.
You'll like the way you look, I guarantee it.
Yeah, congratulations. You did something right in the NFL draft. First off, let's talk about the big trades yesterday. The player trades. Obviously, Hollywood Brown, we already mentioned that one. He led to the Baltimore Ravens pulling off another draft day, feather in their cap.
Yeah, and those grades are really easy. Baltimore got an A for absolutely perfect, and Arizona got a D for dumb to dumb dumb to dumb dumb dumb.
And the Philadelphia Eagles made the trade of the day, though, when they picked up A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans. They gave the Tennessee Titans the 18th overall pick and the 101st overall pick.
And A.J. Brown has been all over Twitter today saying that basically Tennessee tried to lowball him.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's true, Tennessee's the biggest loser of yesterday. If it's true that they came in with an offer to A.J. Brown that was $16 million a year, you're the losers of the day because every agent in the NFL is going to read that and go, well, we don't have to call them anymore.
Right.
They're irrelevant. And I feel like trading A.J. Brown was a signal of the Titans going, we know. We know. We know, we know, we know, we know. Indianapolis is better than us. We are better by showing up than the Houston dumpster fire Texans and the Jacksonville, hey, you finally did something right, Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Are we a playoff team? Not in this AFC. Now you've got Ryan Tannehill with no receivers.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've seen that. It was 4 years of the Miami Dolphins.
Okay. I mean, they obviously have 2 days left of the NFL draft, so they can get wide
and there's
receivers.
Nothing that you're going to do that's going to make me feel different. A.J. Brown's a top 5 receiver in this league.
Right.
And I go back to that question I got asked a lot through the pre-draft process. Is Howie Roseman a good GM? Yeah, I think he's okay.
Yeah.
Found a way to get what was one of the top players on the board to them in Jordan Davis, and then got an elite receiver that fits nicely with Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. That's what smart teams do.
Mm-hmm.
That's also why you hoard draft capital, because then you can do things like that. Brilliant. The smart get smarter and the dumb get dumber. That's the greatest Colin Cowherd line ever.
Yep. Think about what the Philadelphia Eagles have done now, though. The Philadelphia Eagles started out this process with 3 first-round draft picks in this draft. They used one of those to ship to New Orleans to get draft capital for next year, which they will probably use to try to upgrade and get a better quarterback next year.
And if they don't, then you've got 2 picks in a really good draft.
Exactly. The other of those picks went to Jordan Davis, who was the best defensive tackle in this draft, and it wasn't even close. And then, do you disagree with that?
It's not even close.
Okay.
I like Jordan Davis, don't get me wrong. I really like the fit with him and Fletcher Cox.
Mm-hmm.
I'm higher on Travis Jones than most.
And then they used the other draft pick to go and get A.J. Brown, somebody that you were not going to find a wide receiver at the top of this draft that's even close to what A.J. Brown is.
No receiver in this draft is even in his class.
Right.
And that's coming from a team that we took one, and I was overjoyed by it.
Mm-hmm. But Tennessee didn't want to pay A.J. Brown, and so at least they got something out of it, right?
Well, I think they're adhering to the Jeremy strategy. Are you going to win a Super Bowl? Under zero circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
There is no shot.
To me, that's the only way.
So tap.
Yeah, to me, that's the only way I would have kept A.J. Brown.
And
I thought I had a shot this year.
You said that. I don't necessarily. To me, this is even a little drastic, but what it signals to me is all this talk about Desmond Ridder, there's probably smoke there. Mm-hmm. I won't be shocked if Tennessee uses a pick early tonight on Desmond Ridder. And you see the evolution. They think Desmond Ridder can be very similar to the same quarterback that Ryan Tannehill is for drastically cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
We'll use the savings on the quarterback to build the team out. We know Indianapolis has Matt Ryan for 2 years. As soon as Matt Ryan's gone, I think the Houston Texans basically threw a big flare up in the sky that said, hey, until this brain trust is gone, there's 31 teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
So all we have to do is be better than Jacksonville and get past an Indianapolis team that I don't know what they're going to do with Matt Ryan. I actually think it's really smart. Now, if I was a Titans fan, I don't know how I'd feel about it today.
I'd be ticked off.
I don't know that I would. And maybe it's because my team's been bad forever.
Right.
I can respect a team having some self-awareness and looking at it going, last year we gave our best shot at it. Now we have to build for when we can be competitive again. Look, right now the AFC looks so daunting that it's going to be like coming out of the Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
2 years from now, it's going to look drastically different.
But all Tennessee Titans fans, we're not all Tennessee Titans fans, but I would say the average Tennessee Titans fan is looking at what happened last year and going, we were the number one team. We were the number one team in the AFC playoffs.
You were the number one seed. Right. I don't think anybody thinks they were the number one team in the AFC.
But that's how fans equate things, though. That's, not so smart fans, like the sharps, the ones who are not the sharp fans. They go, we were the number one team in the AFC. What are we doing?
Well, to me, this is just a signal of you think the model's broken.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. There are teams that circle the drain for years, and they just stay in this unbelievably weird, we go 7-10, 8-9, 9-8, 10-7 range. You know you're not a threat to anybody. You know you're not up there with the high side. So why do you not tap out on this?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tannehill's 34 years old. He's not getting any better. He's just not.
Right.
You are where you are. You can get out of that deal in a year. You draft the quarterback. I think you sit Ridder behind Ryan Tannehill, and you give up A.J. Brown. You got high-end capital for A.J. Brown. You replaced him with a guy that I really like in Treylon Burks. By the way, you remember that thing I said about where Treylon Burks is going to go higher than people seem to think?
Yep.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And that opened it up. Now, this narrative that, well, they're the same guy. No, they're not.
Treylon Burks and A.J. Brown, not the same guys.
No. Treylon Burks is the Wish version of A.J. Brown. And that's fine. Mm-hmm. You're paying the Wish price.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. There were a lot of teams last night that made my head hurt. I'm reasonably sure I ruptured a blood vessel in my head talking about the Houston Texans. But the Titans weren't one of them.
Yeah.
If you lowballed him, that's going to be a problem for a year or two because agents are going to remember that. And if you I don't really believe that there's. But what's that old line that there's your side, his side, and the truth's in the middle?
That's what I was getting ready to say. Is it just? I doubt it's just the money. There has been reports of friction in the relationship between the team and A.J. Brown before all of this. He wants a trade. He wants out, all of this stuff. well, a trade wasn't there. We didn't find a trade partner, or maybe we weren't looking because we really didn't think you wanted out of town. It was just a play for more money. We're not going to give you more money. So we're not willing to pay you. And what? I'm going to find a trade to get you out of town.
Well, you get to a certain point where you have to acknowledge where you're at. And I think Tennessee has done that. You got good capital for him. I see Joshua Snyder in our comments said, I think Traylon's going to be a bust. Mm-hmm. I don't. I like him a lot. And I just look at Tennessee and go, okay, you're now a 9th best team in the AFC. So you're not going to be terribly bad. You're never going to be one of the 6 worst teams in the league. So you have to rectify the quarterback problem. Mm-hmm. Well, with A.J. Brown with Desmond Ridder, to me, that's like having a Maserati to go to the grocery store.
Right.
Now, Traylon Burks, on the other hand, that I get. That's at least a plan. And that's what I take away from a lot of things that teams do in the draft. I want you to have a plan. The New York Giants last night had a plan. The Baltimore Ravens always have a plan. For the first time ever, and it feels so weird to say these words in this order, the New York Jets had a plan. Again, we don't have sound effects today, so Tyler Cunningham, I'm your Huckleberry. The Saints made me very happy last night, even though I wanted Jameson Williams. I'm also really glad your Jets have an amazing defense now. Oh, it feels so good. That was like the nurturing hug of a loved one. Because we have a very good young defense now.
Right.
Now we have a corner that we may have to point in the direction of stages. He did not seem to know where the stage was. Did you not see that? He got lost. Pick up on that. Well, this labyrinth that led to the stage, Sauce Gardner took off. He was so excited to get drafted. He didn't know where he was going.
Well, of course. The backstage looked like it was the halftime show from The Weeknd.
Look, Vegas did a great job.
Of course they did.
I mean, just based off the first night and everything I've heard from out there, Vegas did a great job. Vegas was a big winner of last night.
And who didn't know? Who didn't know they were going to?
Well, there was. I had a little bit of a fear that Vegas would try to go too over the top, and it would be too Vegas. No, and the ones I know that are out there, it's been an A1 put together production. Look, the NFL treated Vegas like it was a city that didn't exist for 50 years. Mm-hmm. So to have the draft in Vegas was a huge step anyway. And then have it go this well, also a good step. So they were a winner for me.
Yep.
And in the next segment, we'll talk winners and losers of last night. And I love Draftmas.
Draftmas is here. We have night 2 of Draftmas coming up on the YouTube stream. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat all night tonight. We will cover all 262 picks. We've already got 32 of them out of the way. Tonight, rounds 2 and 3. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, springtime numbers trying to show back up into the weekend forecast and for early May. In fact, we could see some 80-degree plus weather coming up for early next week. What a beautiful day we've enjoyed today. Our low tonight, not as cool, 52 degrees out there tonight. Isolated thunderstorms Saturday, high 75. A chance for some thunderstorms Sunday, high temps in the mid-70s and some low 80s Monday and Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Finding a great hire can be a challenge. That's why there's Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 toward your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-391-2258. That's 800-391-2258. 800-391-2258.
Hey football fans, I'm Micah Parsons.
And I'm Kyle Pitts.
With new Old Spice dry spray, you can smell ready for anything, on the field or off.
I smell ready for a touchdown.
I smell ready for a pick six.
I smell ready for a max contract.
I smell ready for a ball.
Actually, you do. You do smell good.
Thanks, Kyle.
Smell ready for anything with Old Spice dry spray, available at your local Walmart pickup.
It's Macy's Friends and Family with an extra 30% off special gifts from top designers just in time for Mother's Day when you use your coupon or Macy's card. And take 15% off fragrances, skincare, makeup, and more great gift ideas. Going on now at Macy's. Plus, Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase, except gift cards, services, and fees. Sign up today at Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Did you know select Ingles markets now offer curbside service? Shopping has never been easier with all the quality and service you expect from Ingles. Visit ingles-markets.com to find a store near you and start shopping.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. And yes, we had a whole lot of fun last night in round one of the NFL draft. Covered live at the sportsocracy.com. Do so again tonight and, of course, tomorrow from noon until 6:30-ish. Whenever.
And then I'm going to go hibernate like a bear.
Yeah.
I am literally going to go die for about a week.
Right. We are going to be, we will be back in here on Monday. We'll be back in on Monday to do the full recap of the weekend and all of that. And then the two of us are going to be taking the rest of the week off, which is going to be some much needed respite from the busyness that has been the NFL draft. Winners and losers from last night. Yes, Jeremy, go ahead. Your Jets.
Jets, Jets.
Your Jets were winners last night as they picked up three guys that they wanted in the top 10, and they didn't have to use three top 10 picks to get them.
No, it was you almost got to see me cry on camera. It came very close to happening.
Sauce Gardner, the best cornerback in this draft, went at number 4 overall to the Jets. Then at number 10, you got Garrett Wilson, who he was top 2 wide receiver in his class, top 3.
It was Jameson Williams at him.
Yeah.
I mean, I had Drake London up there too, but 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
that's fine. And in that offense, he was my favorite.
And then the guy that Jeremy had convinced us was going to go at number 4 to the Jets, Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end out of Florida State, he fell. And he kept falling.
Dumbfounded that he fell like that.
And he kept falling. And then finally the Jets were like, hey, we need to get back into the first round. And so they swung a trade with the Tennessee Titans to get the 26th pick. And there they took Jermaine Johnson. And I think he had a baby on camera. I think Jeremy had a baby on camera.
I was over the moon. It was I'm going to be honest with you. Last night I've been a Jets fan for 26 years. Last night was my happiest moment as a fan. I have never had a better moment as a fan than I did last night. I mean, you got to understand, for me, this is what I do. The draft is my wheelhouse. And my team has done it worse than practically any team in the NFL. And last night we got it right. I think we got it right. I think the Giants got it right. And a few other teams were right up there with them.
Well, it was a great night for the Jets. I said, like I said, I think the Baltimore Ravens deserve credit for being one of the top winners of this draft as well. Picking up Tyler Linderbaum.
I mean, and who's
fantastic.
shocked? Hey, Baltimore did the draft well. Who's shocked?
Right. Tyler Linderbaum and Kyle Hamilton, both guys were in your top 7.
I mean, it's so funny to me. Year in, year out, you see the same teams are on the winners list, and there's a variance. This year you have the Jets. This year you have the Giants. But, surprise, surprise, the Ravens were good.
Mm-hmm. And you got them at number 14 and number 25. Both top 10 prospects in this class. The Detroit Lions were big winners for me.
They were winners for me. I can't say they were big winners.
At number 2, you got the hometown kid,
who I've long said I'm not dead sold on, but he does fit the culture. I get it.
Aiden Hutchinson goes number 2 overall, and then they made the trade to get up from the bottom of the first round up to number 12 to get Jamison Williams, who to me was the best receiver in the draft. Minus the ACL, he would have been no doubt number 1.
Well, and to me, that narrative is grossly overrated because that's just not true. At least it's not to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there are some people that do what I do that were there. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I had Drake London as the number 1 receiver in this class. Then he became kind of a scheme fit. I do like him in Atlanta, just throwing that out there. And it was 1, 2, 3. But he was the best deep threat in this draft. He has a very different skill set. A lot of people compared him to Tyreek Hill, and I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's more of a really high-end version of Deshaun Jackson. People forget how good he was at one time.
Right.
And I mean, for Detroit, that's fantastic. Now I'm curious what you're going to do at quarterback because Jared Goff is not the one to do that, but you stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
You build the talent base. You've got another pick early tonight.
Yep.
And you just keep building talent. That's how bad teams become good teams.
They've got the 14th pick tonight in the second round. So could that be a quarterback? Absolutely.
I mean, the quarterbacks were the big losers of last night.
They ain't no doubt.
And I had kind of prefaced that that's how I thought this was going to go. Now, if you had told me only one was going to go last night, I would have under no circumstances thought it was Kenny Pickett.
No. You would, if that had been a prop bet, you would have bet your house that it'd be Malik Willis.
Gray Ford in our comments did not love my take on the lines. Look, you still got a high grade from me. I'm just saying there were 3 clear winners to me.
Okay.
The 3 clear winners were the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was another tier that you go Giants, Lions. I kind of want to put the Panthers up there, even though they didn't really do much. You had to hit a home run with your pick, and then there's a drop-off.
Right.
Those are the high-end winners to me.
Okay.
I don't give A+. I had 3 of them last night. The Jets, the Ravens, the Eagles.
Yep, we'll do the full draft grades for the first round coming up in the second hour of the program here. So those are your winners. Now, who are your losers?
Bill. Everything attached to Bill Belichick.
And I honestly feel bad for Cole Strange. Because
Sean McVay's reaction to that was everything you need to know.
It was glorious.
The Rams, Les Snead and Sean McVay were at the podium in L.A., mainly because they didn't have a pick, so they could just hold a press conference and, hey, you guys want to talk? They did the same thing we did. Hey, you want to live stream the draft? Let's have a couple beers, do some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Cole Strange pick came out, he audibly laughed out loud and said, man, we wasted our time thinking he'd be there at 104. He very well should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this deferential. Todd McShay in his grade said, oh, and Bill probably turned him into an all-pro.
Maybe.
Who was the last one he did that with?
The last guy he turned.
Yeah, it was the last one he turned it. Oh, Joe Thuney.
Joe Thuney. Yeah.
And then he was gone in very short order.
Mm-hmm.
This narrative that Bill's just the super genius. Okay. That's weird how Tom makes old Tom Brady makes a lot of things, makes that car move pretty well.
Right. Bill Belichick taking Cole Strange in the first round was ridiculous. It came out of nowhere, and it's great pub. It's great pub for the Southern Conference and for UT Chattanooga. Look, we landed a guy in the top, in the first round of the NFL draft. Awesome. But it's also being panned universally today. It just shouldn't have happened.
Well, I mean,
take Cole Strange by all means, but
in the third round.
Yeah, you took him 2 full rounds too early.
In the third, there were a lot of losers, and there's a narrative around the draft that it's always been a narrative since I've done this.
Mm-hmm.
Last night was proof positive of it.
Yep. More losers coming up in just a minute. First, let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
All right, this is my favorite little stat nugget of the day. Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson has done something that I know none of us ever thought he would do, right? I mean, he had 27.8 points per game in the Dallas Mavericks first round series, and it was the most by a player who committed 5 or fewer turnovers in a series since turnovers became an official stat in 1978. Do you know who the previous best was, Jeremy Greene? It was none other than Larry Bird. 27.2 points per game in the 1986 Eastern semifinals. Jalen Brunson and Larry Bird are in NBA history together now. And that, my friends, is completely outside the box. I never would have thought it. I love Jalen Brunson in college, but I didn't think he'd ever come into the NBA and make an impact like he has made in that first round series.
Their series in round 2 is going to be a lot of fun. The good thing for me is this timed out nicely. I didn't really have to pay that close of attention to the first round because it was largely irrelevant. And the second round is going to kick off right after the draft is over. Thank you for that, NBA.
Right.
Waiting to play a game that really mattered until I could focus on it. That was very nice of you. I'm going to put this in the category of I told you so, number 642. Miami Hurricanes guard Isaiah Wong will enter the transfer portal on Friday if his NIL deal compensation isn't increased, his NIL agent, Adam Pappas, said on Friday. This is one of those things that I feel like it was so, how did you not see this coming, that it's almost redundant to keep saying it. You have officially gotten to free agency in college athletics. Florida is behind and now I can say this, I'm a fan of a college in Florida. The school cannot do anything. There is a law in the state of Florida that they can do nothing to bump up NIL deals. Mm-hmm. Now, Miami has done something because they have brought along a lot of high-end NIL compensated athletes. But this is lunacy. I mean, this has officially gotten to the. Is anybody out there listening, or are you just going to let all of college athletics burn? Mark Emmert looked at it and went, I'm out.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do. You are going to be sued at every turn if you try. That's what that was all about. When Mark Emmert stepped back and said, well, we're just going to let the schools do this. It's because he knew if they tried to put any barriers on it, it was going to create another lawsuit because they lost in the Supreme Court.
Well, you had to put parameters on it, which is what I said from the get-go.
Right.
And nobody wanted to listen. So enjoy this. Enjoy the husk of what used to be college sports.
Mm-hmm. Well, now it's...
You can have that because it's close to baseball for me.
Really?
Speaking of which, breaking news.
Oh, breaking news. I love breaking news on a Friday.
You're not...
Who's going to break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Baseball's had a problem for, I feel like this story's been going on now for a year, with Trevor Bauer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they've handed down their ruling. They've suspended him. How long do you think they've suspended him for? Now, I need you to understand, he is accused of sexual assault. I think that's what
that's what the case was about, yeah.
Accused.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important. Not a lawyer, not a cop. Mm-hmm. He is accused of sexual assault. What do you think the suspension is?
So Major League Baseball has suspended him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say they have suspended him for 1 calendar year.
You're too short.
Are you kidding me?
It's 324 games. He can come back in 2024.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
For being accused.
Just broke 10 minutes ago.
Wow.
324 games.
Unreal. That's one of those that I went, it's baseball, so it's going to be stupid, but I'm going to go stupid high. And son of a gun.
He has already said he will be appealing this. His lawyers are already involved.
Oh, no doubt.
And that will be the depth of what we get into that.
So that's 2 seasons.
And then some.
Yeah.
It's 2 seasons and then some. Baseball. He can come back in, I think that story I just read said June of 2024.
Wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Let the legal system do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's not even charges in this story. Now, if he did it, now that just completely changes the narrative. I just don't understand why it comes out now.
I don't either. The losers of the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft, you said it earlier, the quarterbacks, obviously. There was only one quarterback that went in the draft, or in the first round of the draft, and it was Kenny Pickett to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Loser, by the way. Pittsburgh, loser. I get you had the emotional moment last night, but...
Hey, all right, so explain that.
Oh, okay.
I've heard a lot of Pittsburgh is this huge loser.
Yeah.
Explain that.
I don't believe Kenny Pickett's going to be a good NFL quarterback.
Neither do I.
I don't. You could have done so many other things with that number 20 pick.
Such as
taking anyone other than Kenny Pickett.
Well, that's a very 6-year-old way of going about this. I just don't like what you did. What should you do? I don't know anything else. I want chicken nuggets and French fries.
Right.
I keep hearing this narrative of Pittsburgh blew this so much because, and I'm thinking it's because they didn't take Malik Willis. Let me tell you what I've told you for about as long as I can remember. This narrative on Malik Willis, that's what you think. Mm-hmm. People like me, we do not see that. There is a lot of year away from being a year away, and maybe 2 years from now, the athleticism will be enough to get him over the hump.
Right.
I've heard comparisons to Russell Wilson. All of those are insane. They are insane.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson played in one of the most pro-style offenses at the time. It's different now.
Yep.
At Wisconsin that you could have played in. Malik Willis played literally in an offense at Liberty that makes high school offense look complex. That's what Hugh Freeze does. I don't get what they were supposed to do. Everybody universally wanted him to take a quarterback. Kenny Pickett's the most ready to play. Kenny Pickett's going to start for them week 1.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I have zero doubt of that.
Okay.
Because that's what they were after. Because we were looking at this wrong. We were looking at they signed Mitch Trubisky to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
No, they signed Mitch Trubisky to be the bridge. Bridge doesn't always start. Tyrod Taylor was almost not the starter in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. It lasted for 4 weeks.
All right.
And Pittsburgh thinks the weapons and the team around them is good enough to take Kenny Pickett and prop him up.
And look, and maybe it is. Maybe it is. Mike Tomlin and company, they are obviously way better at this than I am because they're doing it and I'm doing this. But I look at Pittsburgh today and go, you would have been far better off if you had just taken Tyler Linderbaum. I mean, that's the one that I kept looking at going, those are the 2 teams that we had to them, were Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
That Tyler Linderbaum is a great prospect, and one of these teams is going to snatch him up. And guess what? Your division rival just did. And it was great. You had the emotional moment of Kenny Pickett, crying on camera and all of that.
Nobody cares about the emotional moment.
It was
that
great.
will be in sweet little montages. Now, I will say, Kenny Pickett's fiance's look on her face when Detroit traded up, hilarious. That will not live in the same lore as Russell Wilson's girlfriend. We're not quite to that point because that gets brought up on day 2 of every draft.
Of course.
I just don't see it as the big, huge, epic fail that everybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
You got him at 20.
Mm-hmm.
There's very little risk here. And here's what I've yet to hear anybody say. When do you think that Pittsburgh is going to get the shot to take the number 1 quarterback in a class ever again?
That's a good point.
You got your choice of whatever quarterback you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, now look, did I have Kenny Pickett as the number 1 quarterback in this class? No, I did not. But you didn't reach. You didn't trade up. You sat right where you were and you took your guy. And Pittsburgh is never going to have the shot to do that again. Or at least not in the next 5 years.
Maybe
so
not.
You went and got your guy that you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's not a loser.
Yeah.
That's not a loser.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, in the EJ Manuel draft, when was that, 2014?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that team got to take the best quarterback on the draft. Do you not consider that was a loser move? It ended up being.
I liked EJ Manuel coming in, and there's more that happened with EJ. That's a much more.
Sure.
People always go to that and go, "Oh, they should have seen that." There were teams ahead of them that liked him, and plenty of them behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel that Kenny Pickett's probably going to be the same way.
Maybe.
There were probably a bunch of teams in that 20 to 32 range that were going to be on Pickett. And I look at it and go, is there a better scenario where he could be in a position to succeed than Pittsburgh? Was there any team that could have taken him, he would be in a better spot to be good? The answer is no. The answer is no. You have 2 high-level receivers on this team, and you draft really well, and you have a good running back you took in round 1.
Mm-hmm.
The line's getting better, and the defense is good. And I didn't even mention Pat Freiermuth.
Right.
I don't see that as a loser. Taking your guy is not a loser. That's one thing. You can not like the pick all you want to. Losers, to me, come into value. Kenny Pickett's not a bad value at 20. Cole Strange was a terrible value at 29.
Oh, no doubt.
Kenyon Greene was a cataclysmic value at 15.
I'm not saying they're bigger losers than anybody else. I'm just saying, to me, that was a loser of a pick last night. Yes, Bill Belichick, New England Patriots, y'all lost. You lost.
Our resident New England Patriots fan, our Canadian, armchair commentary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your Huckleberry. We have no sound effects today since the studio is still set up on the other side of the building. Take Strange in the second round, fine. But I do not understand how we have no linebackers. We passed on many to draft. A guard that would have been there. I'm going full Brian Haynes. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% get it. That's the one that I looked at and went, I don't think you understand how this process works. And Bill does this year after year after year.
Mm-hmm.
And now his disciple, Nick Caserio, is doing this year after year after year.
The Kenyon Greene pick at 15.
Disaster.
Was
disaster.
Ridiculous. You could have got him with your second round pick.
If they had taken him, I think they pick at 37.
Something like that.
They're the 5th pick tonight.
Let me check.
I would have given that a C-. I don't think that's a biggest need for you. I don't think he's the best player on the board. I would have hammered that at 37.
Mm-hmm.
At 15, I think it took weeks off my life. It's so mind-boggling to me that what are you seeing? Look, I watch a ton of tape. I'm not telling you I watch more than anybody else. I've done this for a minute, and I'm okay at it. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to level with you. I do not remember the last pick that I felt that way about that worked out. I can't name one off the top of my head. I know we have a lot of people in our YouTube comments that are big draft people. If you can think of one, feel free to chuck it out there.
I can't think of one.
I've been trying to think of one all day where I was, what are you doing? And it worked out.
Right.
It's one thing in day 2. I don't love it in day 2, but it's one thing. Day 3, that's a free-for-all. There's nothing you can do that I'm just going to lose my mind about. And I might make jokes about it because, well, I'm a joke maker.
Right.
But, I mean, in the first round, it's just dumbfounding to me.
Were there any other losers of the first round to you?
I didn't love Minnesota. I didn't love Minnesota at all. Not only did you trade down from a spot where allegedly your guy was there, or one of your guys was there, but you also trade in the division and you prop up a team in your own division. That makes zero sense to me.
They accrued some draft capital from it, obviously.
In the spot I want to be in. I mean, they got 32 and 34.
Yep.
The thing I don't understand is then you took Lewis Sin. Wait. You're switching to a 3-4. You need pieces that make that work, and so you take another safety. Now, I'll give you credit. You're going to have the meanest safety set in the NFL. And that and $1 might get you a Coca-Cola.
I mean, that's how they're choosing to build the team. I can't knock the pick because I love Lewis Sin, but yeah, it is very weird to see you trade with a division rival. I don't consider that a loser move. It's just weird. I'd say that's more of a head scratcher to me.
Well, I just don't love it. I don't love it. I don't ever love with trading with a team in your own division. I feel like that goes to reason. Sloan Jordan asked in the comments, if the Vikings take Andrew Booth, does it make more sense? Slightly. Trust me, they can make that make sense. Now, if Jameson Williams turns into the player that I think he's going to, I do believe you're going to regret that you housed the pick that he turned into.
Especially if Detroit is able to get a quarterback. Either this year, in this draft, maybe they find a diamond in the rough, maybe they're the team that's going to take Sam Howell at some point, or they're going to be bad enough to get one of the big quarterbacks next year. And you got C.J. Stroud coming in to throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams and maybe DJ Shark if you decide to pay him again. Oh, yeah.
With DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. Exactly. I mean, if you look at the Lions, look at how this started and look where they're at now, and I'm sure somebody will go, it's Detroit. I mean, the talent level in Detroit has multiplied quite aggressively in the last 2 years.
Right.
Fried Bologna in our comments said, Jeremy said Pickett was a fourth rounder.
You did.
Sure did. And I believe that. There are certain teams that I just kind of defer to and go, you know your things better than I do. It's like the New Orleans Saints. I didn't love that they traded up for Chris Olave. I think he would have been there at 16. You kind of have a track record of you've done this particularly well, and you've had some head-scratcher moves that, in large part, wind up being pretty good. And it's not that I don't like Chris Olave. It's just I think you could have sat where you were.
Right. I would say Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals
have to be a loser. I mean, you give up a first-round draft pick and a fourth-rounder for Marquise Brown.
Well, no, they got the fourth rounder. They got.
Oh, that's right.
They got 100 back from Baltimore. And for me, it's not even that. Marquise Brown is probably better than any player they were going to take there. It comes into cost control. I don't want to pay Hollywood Brown $20+ million a year. I don't. And neither did Baltimore. And Lamar Jackson's mad. Give it a minute. Just let's talk to Lamar on Sunday.
Yeah.
And just let Baltimore do what Baltimore does, and I think Lamar will be just fine.
Because they have a bajillion picks.
They have 6 fourth-rounders. The fourth round of this draft is sponsored by the Baltimore Ravens.
Or is it? Or are they just going to use all of those to move up tonight?
Oh, no, they're 100% going to use those to move up tonight, which is what good teams do.
Right.
At what pick last night did I start saying, Jets, your guy is falling. Go catch him and bring him into your arms and love him and squeeze him and call him yours.
Was it like 21? Was it?
No, it was earlier than that.
I thought it was after the Kenny Pickett.
It was after Baltimore. Because I had a fear Baltimore was going to take him and just go, we'll figure it out.
Let me be honest with you, my timeline from last night's a little
it did. That's what happens when the old vodka takes over.
I started 2 timelines, in fact.
Yeah,
Still not sure if I'm on the
multiverse.
alternate path or if I'm on the actual path everybody else is on. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll be right back.
At Ingles, we know firsthand that building a dream isn't easy. That's why we help small businesses discover the right ingredients for success. We mentor them in development, design, and distribution, making sure their hard work makes it into our stores and our communities, delivering the best local products, and hopefully, a few dreams along the way. Ingles, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
Saturday, June 4th, the Cold Mountain Music Festival is back at beautiful Lake Logan, just outside Canton. It's a full day of music, food, and fun in the shadows of Cold Mountain, featuring Hiss, Golden Messenger, The Future Birds, The Mother Hips, Chatham Rabbits, and I Draw Slow. The gates open at noon. Music starts at 1. Get your tickets now at coldmountainmusic.org. Brought to you in part by New Belgium and proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia Asheville.
The job market is competitive right now, so you need to be competitive to attract top talent. If you're trying to fill open positions at your business, iHeartMedia is here to help. Use radio and digital targeting to find fresh, passive candidates currently in the workforce. These candidates are listening right now, looking for new opportunities. Together, we can let the community know you're hiring. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Some women have put off receiving the COVID-19 vaccinations and booster shots because they plan to become pregnant. We spoke with Dr. Dorothy Fink, Director of Women's Health in the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health, to find out more about COVID-19 and pregnancy.
The COVID-19 vaccine is definitely recommended during pregnancy and breastfeeding, as well as if you're trying to get pregnant now or might become pregnant in the future. And the really good news is that we've studied the vaccine and it has not been associated with miscarriage or premature birth. The reality is that when you get COVID during pregnancy, the complications can lead to preterm deliveries and many other serious health conditions. And we encourage all to really think about this because it's heartbreaking to think about a child who will not have their mom because she died because of COVID. And think about the vaccine. I know it's scary sometimes, you don't want to take anything right before pregnancy. Many times women think that, but this is something that can save your life.
To find COVID-19 vaccines and boosters near you, check out vaccines.gov.
Welcome to Allstate, where we bring it all together. And bundling your home and auto is good, right? And it saves you up to 25%. It all comes together. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Bundled savings discounts will vary by state. Saving up to 25% is a countrywide average of savings off the home policy. Combining the multiple policy discount for having auto insurance with Allstate and the welcome discount savings at enrollment.
Stream award-winning movies and hit shows for free on Pluto TV. Watch hundreds of live TV channels and thousands of on-demand movies and shows like Titanic, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, SpongeBob SquarePants, Star Trek, The Next Generation, and more. It's all 100% free, no passwords, no fees, no problem. Download the free Pluto TV app or head to pluto.tv/free TV and start watching for free.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
Yeah, there were winners and losers in last night's first round of the NBA or the NFL draft. Excuse me. The Carolina Panthers, number 6 overall. You guys, you did the right thing, and I think universally everyone is happy about it. We didn't make the dumb move. We didn't go get a quarterback. Obviously, you saw what the league believes of this quarterback class after last night's first round. Only one of them going in the first round, Kenny Pickett, number 20 overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you didn't look stupid. You took the best player on the board.
Well, I mean, the thing about the quarterbacks in this class is nobody wants to tie their future to him. If you take a guy in the second round, there is a lot more we can move off of him than you get stuck with a Daniel Jones.
Yep.
Now, the thing about Kenny Pickett, do I evaluate him as a high-level player in this league? No. I also thought he was pretty safe. I pretty well feel like I know what he's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to look dumb doing it. Malik Willis could have been a disaster. And I feel that way about Desmond Ridder. I feel that way about Matt Corral. I don't think Sam Howell could be a disaster, but it seems that the entire scouting industry thinks I'm wrong on him. So.
Right. He is the one that has been downplayed this entire process, and I was hoping we were going to get we were going to get some confirmation on our Sam Howell love last night. Maybe we will tonight. We'll just have to wait and see. And we'll be covering every pick live on the YouTube stream. So what are the betting odds, though? What says Vegas about teams' odds next year?
There are a couple of things that I want to touch on with the odds. First of all, set the odds in the NFC North.
The odds in the NFC North?
This dumbfounded me. I had pulled this before, and then I realized that I didn't look at this, and Armchair put it in our comments.
The Green Bay Packers would be the favorite at minus 150.
200.
Okay. Minus 200. Then it'd be plus 200 for Minnesota.
Plus 275 for Minnesota, plus 800 for Chicago. Detroit's down to plus 1,200.
Okay.
That tells you Vegas likes them better. They're still one of the
away. Right?
They're still one of the 8 worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
That's a drastic jump from where it was. I think they were plus 2,500 when the odds came out.
Just to win the division.
Just to win the division. I also look at the Jaguars at plus 600 and go, somebody's going to put money on that. Somebody somewhere is looking at 100 doubloons going, I want to set that on fire.
Right.
And I'm going to do it with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
I'll tell you one that blows my mind. The AFC North. There is no clear favorite. The Browns and the Ravens are tied at plus 200. The Bengals are plus 225, and the Steelers are down at plus 750. The Steelers are in the same range as the New York Giants to win the NFC East.
Yep.
That's insanity to me.
It's
look,
not
I understand
to me.
the division's better.
That's what I was
That's
thinking.
the one where I look at it and go, Vegas could lose a buku of money on that.
I mean, they could. You don't ever put it past Pittsburgh to do something crazy. Yeah.
That's my point. I could never set a number that high.
Right.
The one that I'm just drunk on, Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC East. I now fully believe they're the favorite, by the way.
Plus 175.
You're too low. It's plus 225.
Oh.
And to me, that's the best bet in football right now.
Okay.
You're catching over 2-1 odds on the team that I think is the best team in that division.
Right. I could very well see
the Cowboys are close, but I didn't love what they did last night. And I feel like that team's gotten worse, and Philadelphia has gotten markedly better.
Yeah.
Good value. Just saying.
All right, you are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Second hour coming on the way. We will do all the grades for the picks in the first round of the draft, plus preview night 2. Right after this on ESPN Asheville, right here in the Ingles Studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, springtime numbers trying to show back up into the weekend forecast and for early May. In fact, we could see some 80-degree plus weather coming up for early next week. What a beautiful day we've enjoyed today. Our low tonight, not as cool, 52 degrees out there tonight. Isolated thunderstorms Saturday, high 75. A chance for some thunderstorms Sunday, high temps in the mid-70s and some low 80s Monday and Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by InvisibleFence.com. Whether you want your pet to have the independence to run and play outside, or you need to correct some mischievous behaviors like digging in the trash, the hands-on trainers from Invisible Fence brand train your pets for you. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. Invisible Fence brand. Surround your pets with care.
Sure, you can use your phone to call a radio station, but iHeartRadio's revolutionized the way you talk to us. Introducing the TalkBack mic inside the free iHeartRadio app. Here's how to use it. Just listen to your favorite iHeartRadio station on the app. When you have something to say, tap the TalkBack mic and record your message. You can even listen back to make sure your message sounds perfect. After all, it could end up on the radio. Talk to your favorite iHeartRadio stations with one tap. Only on the free iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. What happens in Vegas is day 2 of the NFL Draft. Live coverage starts at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and TV, 7 Eastern on ABC for rounds 2 and 3. NBA playoffs, Grizzlies and Timberwolves in Minneapolis tonight. Game 6 with Memphis leading 3-2. Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins.
Just going out there and just building on what we did in Game 5. We took a big step, I thought, from Game 4 to Game 5 with our spirit and our, activity. Shots weren't falling, but our resiliency was great. We're going to need that tonight, but just about going out there and playing our best basketball.
Grizz and Wolves at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer gets the longest suspension yet under baseball's domestic violence policy, 2 years. Bauer plans to appeal. He hasn't pitched since last June. 2 women have accused him of sexual assault. Maryland football coach Michael Locksley gets a new 5-year contract. Locksley capped off his 3rd year on the job by leading the Terrapins to their first bowl win since 2010.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Yeah, they were always committed to Jalen Hurts. I think there was a lot of smoke. The A.J. Brown situation is perfect. So you go get that bigger, thicker receiver.
Get more from the guys Monday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Now your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Win. That's win. Enter it on our station website now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400, the Sportsocracy. With me, Tank Spencer, and him, Jeremy Greene, at ESPN Draft Nerd. You can see us everywhere on YouTube, hear us everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. We always come to you live from the Ingles Studio, Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings. It is time for the Flostradamus draft grades for the first round of the NFL Draft. So let's jump into it here. Number 1 overall pick, it was, as we expected, as you first told us, Jeremy Greene.
If you went to betus.com, you got the plus 2,200 on Trayvon Walker. You can give your thanks by, throwing a couple shekels in the old super chat there.
Oh, there you go.
I had somebody tell me they put $100 on that.
Wow.
I was like, well, so did I. So,
I seriously thought about it because you were so convinced that it was going to happen and it was such good odds that I went, oh, man, maybe I should do that. And then I went, oh, yeah, I'm cheap.
Well, here's the thing. I will tell you this. The way sources work, the further into this I'm getting. Look, I'm very new into the radio thing. I just got into this a few years ago. So the draft is where I've known people for a long time. Mm-hmm. And sources are a lot like your friends. You got that one friend that their seal of approval. If they say a movie's good, you go watch the movie. If they say a restaurant's good, you take a date there. And then you have those friends that you're like, he said he met this girl, but I've never seen this girl, and she goes to another school. I don't know that I believe anything you just said to me. That came from my A1, number 1, everything that comes out of the man's mouth, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I just stayed dead in the wool on it. It made sense. And now, grade for Trayvon, look, I don't love it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't love it. But then I look at it and go, with Jacksonville, what would I love? What would I have loved? Would I have loved Evan Neal more than Cam Robinson? Would I have loved Ike Mekwonu? Yeah, I guess. Mm-hmm. Everything they did was going to be Is that really the guy you're taking at 1? And so, I mean, Trevon's got the highest upside. I gave it a C+.
Okay.
And that's a C+ that you didn't study for the test, and you were really at a great disadvantage before the paper even hit the desk.
Yeah. I feel like with his possible upside, I can't go any more than a B, any lower than a B- on the Trayvon Walker pick. But you know me, I grade everything on the curve.
Oh, yeah, you were the professor that everybody wanted to take your class.
No doubt.
Show up, I'll give you a C.
With the number 2 pick in the draft, it was Aiden Hutchinson going to the Detroit Lions. It's a perfect fit.
This was never going to be anything other than what it is. It's a solid B.
Yeah.
I think Aiden Hutchinson's a solid B because I think that's what he's going to be as a player in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be a solid B.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see superstar on him, but he fits the culture. He fits the narrative. And Brad Holmes, just doing what Brad Holmes does, he's accumulating talent. I'm telling you, this is something I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to show the starting 22 of the Detroit Lions 2 years ago and show it to you now.
Nice.
It is unbelievable how much better this team is today than they were 2 years ago.
Leaps and bounds. And it's leaps and bounds, but it's also bit by bit.
Slow and steady.
Right. It's also bit by bit. Derek Stingley Jr. at number 3 to the Houston Texans. That cropped up late in the week last week, and I like it.
I went B-. I think you took the second. You took the higher upside. If you told me one of these corners turned into top 3 best in the NFL, I'd go Stingley.
Mm-hmm.
If you told me one of these guys wasn't in the league 4 years from now, I'd also go Derek Stingley.
Yep.
The history of corners in the top 5 tells me that one of these 2 guys is not going to work out. Law of averages.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel much better about the next pick than I did about this one.
I kept trying to.
But you also got to remember, this plays to the organization, too. Right now, I trust knowing things about the Clintons, gas station sushi, tap water in Tijuana.
Right.
Your taste in movies. I trust all of that more than I trust the Houston Texans right now.
Right. It was an A for me. It was a low A though. It'd be like a 93 on the scale.
Oh, it was a low A.
Yeah. Ahmad Gardner, Sauce Gardner goes to your New York Jets at number 4. I tried to get you to buy into that.
Well, I'll be honest with you. This told me Joe Douglas made this pick.
Yep.
And he looked at Robert Saleh and went, "You trust me? You'll like this."
This is an A+ for me.
It's not an A+ for me. It's not an A+ for me. It's an A- for me. He's a great player. Corner in the top 5. I do have to put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, there's a huge discrepancy between 1, 2, and 3 at corner. So, I mean, I really like this pick. I'll be honest with you. This is the lowest graded of the 3 Jets picks for me. And I love it. It's just I grade much more harshly than most.
Kayvon Thibodeau at number 5 to the New York Giants.
For me, that was B+.
Okay.
The character issues scare me. The character issues in New York scare me drastically more.
This is one that I actually graded lower than you.
But look, I look at what Buffalo did, and you can glean a lot from a front office in their first draft. If you remember when Detroit had their first one, I went, look, this team is not going to be drastically better next year, but I like everything they did, and 5 years from now, we're going to look back and go, that went pretty well.
Yeah. Kayvon can be
That's
awesome.
where I'm at with Shane and Daboll and this entire brain trust.
Mm-hmm.
I think we will look back and go, you got a star pass rusher and you got your left tackle for the future in the same draft.
Mm-hmm.
And are either one of them going to be – I mean, are we talking Jonathan Ogden and Von Miller here? No, probably not. But those guys weren't really in this draft. You knew what the assignment was, and you did it in droves. So I gave this one a B+.
Yeah, this is a B- for me. I don't want attitude issues going to big cities. It's just a thing I can't get over in my own head. Number 6, it was an A+. Carolina Panthers knocked it out of the park. You got the best offensive lineman in the draft at 6.
And I can't give this an A+. And I'm not trying to slight Panthers fans. Mm-hmm. This is very, very good. He's also the most likely of the high-end tackles to end up not playing tackle. And that's what you needed. You needed the left tackle. Look, I love the kid, and I had him at 2.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a home run selection for me. I just hope Panthers fans are going into this going, all right, this year is not going to go well. Okay, and I'm not being spicy there, and I'm not trying to be a jerk to your team. This year's not going to go your way. Mm-hmm. The hope is behind this much improved offensive line that you'll see, is there something in Darnold? Or are we going to be one of those teams chasing the C.J. Stroud's, Bryce Young's next year? And you'll have a year here to see, is Icahn our franchise left tackle, or is he the piece that we're building this offense around because he's just the road grader and we can maybe not have the superstar Pat Mahomes quarterback and we'll be more of a power team? I just feel like this set your franchise in a trajectory of 10 possible outcomes, 6 of them end in the same spot. And look, I love Icahn, and I loved this pick. For me, it's an A, but I can't give it an A+ because I don't know that he's going to be a left tackle.
Yeah. Evan Neal, number 7 overall to the New York Giants.
Had I not seen him, I would probably have been less nice with this grade.
Mm-hmm.
It's an A.
Yeah.
He looked unbelievably good.
He did.
I don't know if he's been doing PhD weight loss. I don't know what in the world. The body, just the makeup. He looked like a different person. And I'm going to be honest with you, that was the only negative I had on him was weight. And so if he's going to look like, if that's how he's going to be built in the NFL, he looked about he looked less than 330, which was the lowest I think we had ever seen him. It's an A.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to be good in this league.
Yep. Well, since you brought it up, let's talk about it for just a second, because an A+ grade is what I give the PhD weight loss program for helping me lose more than 62 pounds in 21 weeks. I am so excited about the next step in my life. I've never been the guy who is ever considered to be in the realm of being a healthy guy. And now I'm down to 230-some pounds, like on the low 230s, getting ready to break into that 220-something mark. And I'm actually I'm starting to put myself to the test. I'm going to go do the Chamber Challenge next week, do the 5K.
This week has shown me a new trait of the PhD plan, energy. I have always gotten energy from energy drinks. I even put it in the comments. How many would I have this week? It's not nearly as many as you think. And it's because the food in the Planet PhD has given me an infusion of energy. I'm sleeping better, and I feel drastically better. I will feel better at the end of this Draftmas week than I have in years.
PhD Weight Loss has the best support program out there for you, and they are waiting to help you on your path to a healthier you. Go to myphdweightloss.com, and big news this week, this is now PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans. No Clemson Tigers drafted in the first round of the draft. However, they will have one come off in the first 2 picks of the second round.
It'll be early. I don't know that it'll be that early.
Yeah, Andrew Booth will come off to one of the first couple of teams in the second round. Your grade for the Atlanta Falcons at number 8, they got Drake London. It was a bit of a curveball.
It made Drake $230,000.
Really?
Yeah, Drake put $100,000 on Drake London to be the first receiver taken, and he posted his betting slip on Twitter earlier.
That's awesome.
And you know what? I had to drop it half a letter grade just because it benefited Drake in some way.
You hate Drake.
His music is an assault on your earlobes. Look, I like Drake London. This idea that he's going to struggle to separate in the NFL, I think that's a fake narrative. He's so big. And the comp that Mel Kiper had last night, it made me angry that I hadn't thought about that before. It's Vincent Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vincent Jackson was real good in this league for a long time. And a big-bodied receiver like that on the other end of Kyle Pitts, it's just going to be difficult once this team is built to match up with them because you have 2 gigantic receivers. I mean, all right, let's say you have that long 6'3" Ahmad Gardner corner. Do you have 2 of them? Because you're going to need 2 of them.
Right.
So for me, it was I would go B+.
Okay. Charles Cross at number 9.
A+.
Yeah.
A+, don't think about it. Seattle Seahawks,
Good for you.
Good for you.
Good for you. Moving on to number 10, which is also an A+. Garrett Wilson going to the New York Jets, Jets.
Okay. I'm trying not to be a homer.
That's my grade. I give it
I'm trying not to be a homer. So for me, Garrett Wilson was just an A+++. That's not true. No, he's an A. It's an A for me. I really like Garrett Wilson. I really like the fit in this offense, and I always have. To me, I liked Garrett Wilson with the Jets better than I did Drake London, who, yes, I did have evaluated higher than him, but that's for all 32 teams. In this offense, the things that Garrett Wilson can do, I mean, this just changes everything. I mean, now you look at that receiving core and you go, and I got Elijah Moore, I got Garrett Wilson. Both of those guys can beat you over the top. Corey Davis is the possession receiver. You put the money in at tight end with Conklin and Uzomah. I have a funny feeling you're going to see a running back go earlier today to the Jets, and you think maybe at 38. And then I look at the offense and go, that's not bad.
Right.
This is put Zach Wilson in a good position to succeed. By the way, you remember that day that I fell for the Mekhi Becton thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that didn't last long. That didn't last long.
At number 11, Chris Olave. The New Orleans Saints traded up to get Chris Olave. Was that the right move?
I don't think you had to. This grade's going to be lower on the selection than it would be on the player, because I actually really like the player. You've got two receivers that don't necessarily do a lot for you after the catch. They get open nicely. I don't mind the fit in New Orleans. I just don't like that you traded up for him. Now, when I saw what happened at 16, I went, okay, maybe we were in a run, and you figured that out, and you had to do it. I still have to ding you a little bit. For me, Chris Olave is a B-, but it's a B- that's much closer to a B. I like the player, and you stuck to your board. You did exactly what you were going to do and get a receiver and offensive tackle.
Yeah, for me, it was a B+. I don't like the fact that you traded up and didn't take the best receiver on the board, because I believe that was Jameson Williams. Chris Olave was my 2, though. I liked him better than Garrett Wilson, and I know I'm strange in that. And then you had the Detroit Lions going up to 12 from 32, giving up a lot of capital to get up there, but they got their number 2 receiver. Well, this is going to be their number 1 receiver, Jameson Williams out of Alabama at 12. What grade do you give it?
This is going to get a little cyclical. I really like the player. Currently, you don't have a quarterback that can take advantage of what he does. I think you're going to, maybe before this day is over. So I love the player. I love the fact that you convinced somebody in your own division to trade with you. That's still just dumbfounding to me. I feel like Minnesota's going to look back on that and go, what were we doing? So for me, it's a B+. Would be an A if you had just magically been gifted the 12th pick.
Right.
And having to go up the Capitol in a very – they were in a honey hole at 32 and 34. So that was a steeper price than people think. But I can't really ding it much.
No.
I love the player. I love the fit. I love everything Detroit's done.
The Detroit Lions were one of my winners of the first round, as I said earlier in the program. And then, of course, we will get to one of the other winners of the first round in the Philadelphia Eagles coming up next with their 13th pick. They took my guy out of Georgia, Jordan Davis. We'll find out what Flostradamus feels about it up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, springtime numbers trying to show back up into the weekend forecast and for early May. In fact, we could see some 80-degree plus weather coming up for early next week. What a beautiful day we've enjoyed today. Our low tonight, not as cool, 52 degrees out there tonight. Isolated thunderstorms Saturday, high 75. A chance for some thunderstorms Sunday, high temps in the mid-70s and some low 80s Monday and Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Heavy delays, 240 eastbound between exit 2 and exit 4A, and Axton has the left shoulder blocked at the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Future 26 eastbound slow between Riverside Drive and 240. Light delays 26 eastbound between I-40 and Bavard Road. 26 westbound stop and go between Hendersonville Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound crawling between Sweeten Creek Road and Hendersonville Road. 40 westbound then slow between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Near Fletcher, Hendersonville Road, north and southbound stop and go. Approaching Fanning Bridge Road, an accident on the northbound side
This
here.
report is
Sweeten
brought to
Creek
you
Road,
by
northbound.
BioNTech and Pfizer. You've heard the latest news, traffic, and weather. But there's something else you should hear. Consider getting a COVID-19 booster, as recommended by the CDC. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
As Americans across the country continue to receive COVID-19 vaccines and booster shots, some women remain hesitant to get vaccinated because of concerns about potential side effects. We spoke with Dr. Dorothy Fink, Director of Women's Health in the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health, to learn more about the COVID-19 side effects in women.
You know, one question that has come up a lot, that we hear a lot, is how can this COVID-19 vaccine impact the menstrual cycle? The NIH is funding a lot of research and has found that the COVID-19 vaccine can be associated with temporary changes in your period, including changes in period length and sometimes some heavier bleeding. But the good news is there's currently no evidence that any vaccine, including the COVID-19 vaccines, can cause any problems with fertility or any problems with trying to get pregnant.
To find COVID-19 vaccines and boosters near you, check out vaccines.gov.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Welcome to Allstate, where we bring it all together. And bundling your home and auto is good, right? And it saves you up to 25%. It all comes together. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Bundled savings discounts will vary by state. Saving up to 25% is a countrywide average of savings off the home policy. Combining the multiple policy discount for having auto insurance with Allstate and the welcome discount savings at enrollment.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles, we know firsthand that building a dream isn't easy. That's why we help small businesses discover the right ingredients for success. We mentor them in development, design, and distribution, making sure their hard work makes it into our stores and our communities, delivering the best local products, and hopefully, a few dreams along the way. Ingles, your neighbor for over 50 years.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
We are the Sportsocracy here in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville and seen at thesportsocracy.com. Click on that live video link, subscribe to the channel. You can get into the chat with us tonight for day 2 of the NFL Draft. We cover every pick live each and every year, and it just gets better and better and better.
Oh, last night was so much fun. Tonight we will be the expansion team, the West Virginia Ninjas that we talked about last year. We will be elaborating on that.
Well, we already know what your first-round pick was going to be. You said
we still got to pick what pick I would have. We're going to put that to the chat, and they can tell me what number it is. And I have a funny feeling this is going to be like the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to pick it'll be dead last. Which is fine. I like this draft, so I'm not averse to that.
Your original thought was just slot you in the middle of the draft, and so if you went at 16, we knew last night you were going to go with Jermaine Johnson. So maybe not. Maybe not. We're grading. We're Flostradamus grading each and every one of the picks in the first round of the draft. We left off at number 13, Jordan Davis, the big freak athlete at defensive tackle for the Georgia Bulldogs, national champion, by the way, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles as an A+.
It's not an A+ for me because there is a little bit that scares me, but he's still an A-.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, him next to Fletcher Cox, the interior of that defense is going to be pretty good.
Right.
And you've had a slew of pass rushers for a long time. Now, I'm curious to see, as these 2 days unfold, what do you do at linebacker? But, I mean, I liked everything Philly did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm bigger on what you did with the 18th pick because A.J. Brown's one of my favorite players in this league. But, I mean, the Howie Roseman thing, it is so funny to me how in 1 year, Howie's so stupid. And then he got Indianapolis to actually give up capital for Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts takes them to the playoffs. Yeah, they